Hey all, new day, new opportunity to get together before our elbow's thrown and just come to him and ask for help. This week, today and Thursday, we're going to be talking about wrath. And it's something I know well. It was something I kind of reveled in. And when we gather together Thursday, we're going to be talking the heavier ends of it. Because with everything going on in the world, the yell of wrath, of malice, of everything else going on, I think it needs to be discussed. Because we went from yelling, oh, Russia bad, Ukraine good, or Ukraine good and Russia bad, and all the way to Israel versus Palestine, Palestine versus Israel, and I have to admit, I don't give a diddly damn about the ideologies. I care about the innocent civilians that are getting caught in crossfire. I care about the people who had nothing to do with this, but are being screwed for it. The women and children and fathers, parents, and even the single people. People who have to worry about if they're going to get shot at or killed or die, even more so, on both sides. On every side, because this is what war does. It makes mincemeat of people who wanted nothing to do with it. Women and mothers just trying to tell their kids it'll be okay after food, water, power, everything else was shut down and shut off because of a small group of people. Not all of them. Because that's one of the core things I want to talk about today. The difference between righteous anger and unrighteous anger. Just anger and unjust anger. We'll get into the darker places of it so you can see how quickly this slippery slope goes from, hey, be angry, go ahead and be angry, because the word says be angry. I know a lot of Christendom says don't be angry, don't get frustrated, just be happy little people that are well. That's how you do it when you're on a ton of drugs. This is not real living. Emotions may interpret incorrectly, but they cannot be wrong. They have to be worked with, they have to be worked through, and they have to be dealt with. Because repressing them down is just going to cause ulcers and other problems, and putting them out forward 24/7 is a great way to chase people off. So the word says, be angry, don't sin. Okay, what the hell does that mean? Well, let's get into that. Because when you are angry, when you have righteous anger, when something is instilled to you, say, this is wrong. A child is hurt, an elderly person is abused, the orphan, the widow, the immigrant forsaken. When people are mistreated and everything inside of us says that is wrong. Good, that's righteous anger. Now what are you going to do about it? Because righteous anger does something about the situation. Unrighteous anger does something about the person. Righteous anger is what are you going to do about it? Unrighteous anger is what are you going to do about them? Worldly anger is about them. Well, they did it. They need to pay. They need to suffer. It was their fault. But that's not the word. That's not the Bible. That's not righteous anger in any way, shape, or form. That's coldness. And it becomes cruelty. Really quick. Righteous anger is, this is wrong. It needs to be fixed. People are using and abusing each other. This is wrong. And if the government is okay with it, then we're going to stand up and say no. Nope. Well, what if you go to jail? Okay. Forefathers in the faith did it too. Well, what if we kill you? We know where we're going. We will not play your game. Be angry. Don't sin. Because it's really easy in a heated place, in an emotionally intense place especially, because the chemicals released by emotions make it difficult for the brain to process in logical form. It's just biochemistry. It's why taking a walk, taking a minute, a deep breath, why there are thousands upon thousands of coping mechanisms for a reason, to take a moment and breathe. Because we are not designed to be cruel to each other. And when Abel kills Cain and Cain kills Abel, it just gets ugly fast. When we're more interested about dealing with them rather than dealing with it. Vengeance is mine, say of the Lord. Vengeance is mine, God says. He will do the balancing. He will see to it. he sees justice done because he's the only one with the true perspective on it. When we try to deal justice by our terms, we end up causing problems. That's why justice and righteousness are so intimately connected, because humans can do righteousness. We cannot do justice. We don't know how. We can live justly, and we do that by living in right relationship with each other. What is right relationship? Let's go to the Proverbs, or the parables rather, of Jesus. Your brother, family, sister, friend, they're beaten down. Israelite, or the Levite walks off, the priest walks off, the Samaritan helps him instead. What if instead of living like the world, we looked like Jesus? Instead of praying that there be an ending of all of the people, there be an end to the violence. Because I remember 2001, I remember the responses, I remember the reactions. I remember hearing phrases that to this day disgust me. Because everybody went along with the fervor, myself included for a season. Well, hate them because they're a them. We were all on the outside once, all dead to our sin. It's the righteousness of Christ Jesus by which we live, the right relationship of Jesus that says, I will die in your place. Because I know my daddy. And I want you to have the chance to. I'll give you an example from Star Trek, because like I've said before, I'm a bit of a Trekkie. I love the Andorians, right? Because the Einar, depending on how you want to pronounce it, the offshoot of Andorians. Andorians, very warlike species, very honorable, very tradition, kind of a blue Klingon, if you will. The Einar are a type of Andorian that is blind. Pale skin, near precognition. If you've seen Strange New Worlds, you've seen at least one of them with the engineer. They don't believe in playing that game. They will jump on the grenade in a moment, but they won't throw one. Because we don't wage war against flesh and blood. We wage war against principalities and spirits. We wage wars against ideologies that say it's okay to kill men, women, and children that had nothing to do with this on our way to get a couple of the assholes who did. Plus, just as a ponderance moment, how did they get in the first place? With all of that technology, with all of that surveillance, with all of the information, how'd they do it? Because that's kind of like when the FBI or CIA drops something. How do you, with that many millions of dollars, manage to screw this one up? Something feels screwy. So rather than get locked up and lost up in the world's fervor, I'm going to take a moment. And I'm going to breathe. And instead of listening to both sides yelling at each other for blood, I'm going to respond to what an analyst said. Well, who would give power to somebody who's actively attacked? Jesus. Jesus would. He didn't strip Pontius Pilate. He simply told him the only authority you have is that which has been given to you by God. You have no power here, mate. You are just doing what you are told. Had the power to come down off of the cross and stayed there because we mean more. Because life means more. Because an opportunity for relationship with Messiah, with Yahweh, means more. So I pray right now for the Middle East with all of my heart, not just Israel. That all of Abraham's brood, be it Isaac, Ishmael, Esau, any of them, that they would have their spears laid down and beat them into size, that they would shatter their swords and smash them into plowshares. There would be shalom in that place, and that Isaiah 19 would be seen. Because when the world says wrath and war and hatred and malice, we say no. No. Instead, we will fix the situation by helping the people. Let's think about Old Testament, right? King Solomon sends a guy that, go get this guy. Or maybe it was either David or Solomon. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I remember the leader of the army being sent to a city. And they're about to lay siege on it. And the old woman, this is a city of peace and wisdom. Why are you trying to sack us? Oh, we're not trying to kill you. We just want that one asshole. The one guy who did it. The actual human being responsible for the problem. Nobody else. Just that one. We're not here for war against you. We want them. That one person. And what happened? Oh, okay. We'll go in. The leaders got that one person. And yeah, they threw his head over the wall. Time and place writing, right? The idea, if you treat the city humanely, they might do the job for you so that blood doesn't have to be shed. As after Cain picked up that rock, decided that Abel just wasn't good enough to forgive. That little preachy boy had all the things going for it, just needed to... One quick blow. That's all it took. One quick smash. But that's what we do. We do it emotionally. We do it verbally. We do it spiritually. And we do it physically to each other. And Abel's blood cries out. So I'm asking you, Cain, put down the fucking rock. Because at the end of the day, is it really worth taking away their opportunity to know God just because you were offended? Is it really a good thing to shatter Abel or to kill Cain just because our own definitions are better, or that we think we are? Is that not eating from the fruit of that evil tree? Determining the knowledge of what is good and evil and deciding it for ourselves. What does the word say? To worship the Lord your God with all of your lephesh, all of your lev, and all of your ma'od. Idiomatically, we've got spirit, soul, and body, right? Your spirit, everything unique of your ma'od. Your soul, your mind, your emotions, that's lev. Your body, that's your nefesh. So even the ideas still line up today. To worship God with all of us, and in doing so, we love others as we are loved by the God who died for us. So that when the world tells us to smash Abel's skull in, we drop the rock and say no. The world has decided what it wants. It's been seeking the same horsemen forever. War, conquest, famine, disease, death. It will continue to ride after those horsemen. Will we? Because there's another set of 4 horsemen in the Bible. And these are ones roaming throughout the land who say, hey, there is peace. My heart breaks because all too often we'll get into places where we say, your will and not mine be done, but we don't mean it. We want our own choices. We want our own actions. We want our will to be done. We want our wrath to be better. Because, well, you don't know what they did to me. I don't. He does. He knows. And that you're still here, that you can hear this, shows that He has given you the strength to make it, and will continue to do so all the days of your life. The choice is here, as it was simple and plain with Jeremiah, Moses, or anywhere in between. Blessing or curse. You either promote life or you live in death. You cannot serve 2 masters. You either worship Jesus as king, whether you know it or not, or you worship the world. The fruit determines the difference. peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. Not just words. Fruit bore deep inside us. So when we get up in the morning, we can put on salvation, righteousness, truth, peace, faith, and carry the word with us. Not a sword to beat people with, but words to break chains. Because we don't play with the world's ideologies. It's not our way of doing it. We didn't do it when we first got saved. We're not going to do it now. We're going to live set apart. So the world says wrath, death, malice, and hate. We say, how can I love on the person that used to be my enemy? Because the only true enemy we have is the enemy. The enemy of all life, the enemy of all truth, the enemy of all light. So when the world says war, I implore you, remember who the true enemy is. It's not your flesh and blood brother or sister. It's the ideologies that say it's okay to murder them because they don't look the same. Keep that in mind as we go forward. Because when we get it together Thursday, we're going to get into the heavy stuff. May His favor be upon you. Don't give up hope. I'll see you then.